have liftoff. Thanks, folks, for tuning in to the newest episode of Flyby Shine Presents, a drone cleaning show. This is your host, Rick McCluskey, along with co-host Jared Dillon. Jared, how's it going, buddy?
Man, I'm doing
Been a
well.
long time no
Been a
see.
minute.
We've been off a little bit, haven't we?
Been a minute, man.
Well, I mean, I apologize to the viewers, but I'm sure most of the listeners and viewers understand the time of year it is and how we're trying to amp up, and it seems like every rig's having some type of weird equipment
Yeah,
issue, and
something's
yeah,
wrong.
there's always something going on. So we apologize, but we knew that you guys would probably understand. So let's get started. We'll make this kind of a quick show today. We're just happy to be back recording again. Well, I guess we will talk about the recent events that have been going on, and it was not one particular event. Um, it's kind of a common theme that we're seeing, which is going to lead us straight into today's show. Artificial intelligence. So roughly about I guess it was the beginning of January. You heard me talking about OpenClaw.
Yeah,
And I know you've heard our consultant, the Wiz himself, Chris Spence, talk at
one the
length
only.
about it.
Yeah,
And then you had the benefit of sitting in on a meeting with a major telecommunications company
yes, sir.
and their AI developers. What was your takeaway from the meeting?
Um, the red beans and rice were really good. It was quite. It was like trying to drink from a fire hydrant. There's a lot of information that was just going back and forth. That was tough to understand. But what I could pick up was that, man, there's a big opening, especially right now. If since we're not really at the curve, but we're most definitely ahead of the bend, uh, when it comes to artificial intelligence. Yes, it's growing, but it's still gonna take time to mature and for service people to master it, and, it's really cool just to hear from people that already have. I don't know if I would call it mastered it, but, man, they're really efficient at using it.
Yeah, the brain power that was at that table,
Well, it was
it was
it
intense.
was intense.
Um, I have a functional understanding of it, and I have spent, gosh, over the winter months, I would say I had 14, 16-hour days
Yeah.
of just sitting down and trying to learn it. Um, I would say I'm a long ways away from mastering it and understanding it. But I would say it has mastered the art of understanding me a pretty
Yeah.
good bit. But this open claw come out, and the big news with it, and I mean, you guys can Google it right now. It it was the most downloaded um, file from GitHub in history. And an Austrian fellow by the name of Peter Steinberg created, and it was supposed to be a little weekend project for him. And it's no coincidence that the day that I was building mine out, there was a news release that popped up on the screen. Peter Steinberg had been what they call acqui-hired by OpenAI, ChatGPT,
Mhm.
Sam Altman. So the big reason why OpenClaw has caused so much of a ruckus and in some ways chaos, and I know Chris Spence is going to listen to this and he's probably going to have comments. No, you explained that wrong. But we
Probably
we,
so.
we probably should have had Chris on.
Probably.
Maybe here in a minute if we have time, I'll dial in and say, hey, welcome to the podcast. Um, but the big thing about OpenClaw is that it's agentic. Now, the AI that mainstream users have been, using here in recent years, all they are LLMs, large language models.
Yeah.
So they have the ability to process a lot of words and write a lot of words quickly. They can read large documents, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that's not the AI that you got to worry about taking over the world
No.
because all it is, it's just a well versed reader.
Right.
It can comprehend words. Fast forward to January of this year. Agentic, that word means this thing has arms.
Mhm.
This thing has hands. So the AI that we were accustomed to was the eyes. It
Yeah.
could see. It knew things. This AI, as I said, are the arms and
It
hands.
can do stuff.
Yeah. Um, they took the guardrails off, and that was the only way to make it where it could gain
Mhm.
agency. The problem with that is they took the guardrails off.
Yeah.
So very there's a number of stories that are out in the mainstream right now about the first people that downloaded this. They didn't understand how the guardrails work. I'll tell you, man, like when you download this, I've been doing it for what, a
A
month now.
month, yeah.
Yeah. When you walked in today, that's what I was doing. I've been very cognizant of the danger that it could pose. You could, if you give this thing access to, if you accidentally give it access to your bank account,
Yeah.
it can go purchase things. One story about a fella who was sitting on his couch. He had just downloaded. He gets a knock at the door, walks to the door, delivery driver's there. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I got an order for so and so." He says, "Yeah, I'm so and so, but I didn't order anything." And the guy goes, um, the delivery driver goes, "Well, Hank ordered it." Well, Hank was the name he gave to his open claw, and Hank had the ability to look at his height and weight,
Yeah.
come up with a caloric intake, pick out his favorite restaurant, find his favorite item on the restaurant menu, and then say, "What is the item closest to that that will give you the appropriate caloric intake?" And I ordered it. He didn't have the guardrails on.
Yeah.
Another story of a guy catching his agent actually negotiating a timeshare. So when you
That's
go
a timeshare is wild.
So when you go to download OpenClaw, um, it actually has a disclaimer. It says that if not used properly, this AI program is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean, take over the world, any of that. It
No,
just
it's
means
just
that it can be extremely dangerous
pers
for you and your
yeah,
personal well-being.
privacy. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
very invasive.
So you have to be very careful of the infrastructure and how you put it up, and then also the language in which you give it, because these things they have, you assign an identity, you
Yeah.
assign a soul, you give it skills, you give it tools, and like Chris Spence always says, it's cutting edge, but there's a problem with the cutting edge.
Mhm.
You bleed.
Yeah.
Some people will have to bleed. Maybe not, or literally, but figuratively.
Mhm.
There are people that are learning some hard lessons with it. So that's while not a specific news story, it is more of an anecdotal story of our experience and what we've seen with it. And now we get to the rest of the show. And that is, what does all of this AI and the offshoots of AI, what does it mean? The good, bad, and the ugly for drone cleaners. And the list is long.
It is very long.
I would say all three, good, bad, and ugly, are all very long. And I don't think there are enough days in the year for you and I to identify and explain and discuss. First off, I don't think you and I have the resume to do
No, sir. No, sir.
that. Total disclaimer: we are both babies when it comes to AI.
Very much so.
But if it makes you feel any better, most are.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys that you were hearing discuss it, they are what I would consider experts in the field.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now I'm sure that all of them would say, "No, that's not the case." No, they are.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
these guys are building out, they're building out enterprise level
Absolutely.
tools.
Stuff that's worth millions of
Yeah,
dollars.
and they're dealing with billion-dollar well, in one regard, they're dealing with the only trillion-dollar company in the world, NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, yeah.
So, what does all this mean for us as drone cleaners? Number one, we have been dealing with AI, regardless if we knew it or not,
Mhm.
for a long time. There are certain automations. Now,
Right,
was it fully automated? No, but I'm sure there are not many, but a few washers out there that have used programs like Zapier,
right,
where you could you know build an automation, but the fact that it was able to automate the build that you put together, there was a degree of AI involved. And one thing that I see a lot of washers doing now, and I guess this is good and bad. Um, they have their AI receptionist, which I
yeah,
think is a incredible thing, great thing. I mean, you're talking about being able to in the Marine Corps we called it, force multiplier,
yeah,
and that's what that is. Just it gives you back time that
right,
you can use somewhere else. The bad side to that is all the SEO guys in the world that we see, just like, some of them are good, don't get me wrong. um, a lot of them are predatory, and a lot of them, they look at pressure washing groups as fish in a barrel. You see them all the time. Well, now I'm getting those calls about,
yeah,
hey, we'd like to show you our AI system, our
right.
AI receptionist. That's the low hanging fruit.
I had a call the other day about that.
Yeah, I gave her your number.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
But Jobber, I
Yep,
mean, Jobber has its degrees of AI. Uh, the I think the first one that was visible, that you could really see. A lot of this stuff was happening. You got the front end and the back end of apps and computer programs. The front end is your user interface that's facing you, that you see as a customer, while the back end, that's all the things that make it happen, the source code, all the other things, the plugins that make it happen. So the first customer facing component of Jobber that I noticed was when you write something, it offers the rewrite.
mhm,
Well, do you want this written funny? Do you want this written professional or casual or whatever? So it's it's been there. However, and I'm not saying we're at this point just yet, but I'm saying that we are quickly approaching that line where I am of the belief that you will no longer be able to afford not to have
yeah,
some AI capabilities.
for the sake of efficiency.
You believe that as well?
I do. It I think it's gonna become a standard at some point. Now where that AI is placed and where it's gonna become well, if you don't have this type of interface per se integrated into your business, then you're not up to date or you're old fashioned. I'm not sure what that will land, if that will be in the way that we give estimates, if that'll be in the way that the phone is answered, if that'll be in the way that we keep reoccurring business. I'm not sure where that'll land, but it will land somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's the general thought and theme and feeling with AI. Nobody can quite put a finger on what it's going to mean, but they know it's gonna mean something.
Yeah.
Nobody quite understands, as a business, what does this mean as far as what's expected of you? And, before the show, I was thinking of this just a little. It it kinda cuts both ways, because I remember a time when you could go to a country gas station,
Yeah.
and they may not take debit cards,
Right.
and they would accept a check.
Mhm.
So when they transitioned to debit card, there was this time period where they would take a check and debit card.
Yeah.
That's great. Everybody's happy. However, they quickly transition to, most of them don't take checks anymore.
Right.
And I'm sure there were, those that, "Oh, I don't wanna use a credit card or a debit card because that," who knows? Yeah, I could give 1,000
Sure.
reasons
Yeah.
that are, irrelevant and obsolete now, but they did I'm sure a lot of them did miss not being able to write a check,
Yeah.
you know? So it's a double-edged sword. However, at the end of the day, it isn't quite how we feel. It's what our customers are going
Yes, sir.
to become accustomed to. So, one area that, from what I did previously that I know, AI was, it was, let me get my words straight. It was implemented early was BMS systems. Are you familiar with those?
I'm not.
A building management system. So a lot of your large facilities, like if you go to Siemens,
Yeah.
if you go to we have Nissan, Amazon, I'm sure. A building management system was think of your Google Nest
Yeah.
on steroids. Like, it didn't just monitor your temperature, it was monitoring temp, humidity, not just that. It's monitoring every component of your operation. So if you got electric motors that are doing something, not the car electric motors, but like, let's say a conveyor belt, let's
Yeah.
say a processing line. There were sensors on that that let you know if there's a slight vibration, if there's a overheating, so it lets you do that predictable maintenance versus
Mhm.
that repair and replace shutdown that costs time and money. Well, there the system that those sensors fed back into, it all goes to a centralized point known as
Right.
a building management system.
Yes, sir.
And you really didn't see it in mid and smaller companies, but you did see it in your large facilities, like your Nissans and Amazons.
Yes, sir.
So those facility managers, and not just the head guy, the guys, below him who could possibly leave and take a
Yeah.
job at another facility, everybody that's there, they have for at least 5 years now, they've been exposed to technology that, probably your average drone cleaner, beside with the exception of the drone, hasn't been exposed to.
Right.
They're used to being served in a certain way, and it's what they've come to expect. Going back to that example I gave earlier about, country gas stations used to
Mhm.
not take the debit card. At that same time, there were gas stations in the city that
Yeah.
if you didn't take a debit card, you were asking to lose money. And a lot of people that probably walked in there, they were probably like, I don't want to have to get out my checkbook and my pen and write you a check. I just want to put my card or swipe my
Mhm.
card at the time, hit my pen and be done with it. A lot of the facility managers are falling in that side of the
Right.
example. So for us as drone cleaners, I think that's going to have a cascading effect in many different ways. Your ability to do pre-site assessment or pre-job assessment, so site walkthroughs. I think that's going to slowly be affected.
Yeah.
Um, I believe that the estimate is going to slowly be affected because you still have Jobber and, those capabilities are out there. The areas I think will be affected are, and I'm talking about quickly affected, is, your ability to provide documentation of the job
Yeah.
and of the work. Um, how easy is it for the customer to communicate with you and set an appointment or set a time for you to come give an estimate? I think those things are quickly going to be affected.
Yeah.
It right now we're already seeing that if you don't answer the phone,
Mhm.
a lot of times these people will move on. They're not going to sit there and wait on you,
No.
but they want the communication, the line of communication to you to be very simple and easy. Now, are they going to reciprocate that?
Probably not.
Probably not. But there are AI programs that are specifically popping up to address these things, and it's a lot of programs that I'm not too sure that a lot of your service providers know about. And if they do know about it, what I've seen, these programs will address certain aspects and components of what we do. Like, oh yeah, well this would be great for, you know, I don't know, emails,
Yeah.
mass emails. Well, it does have a free version which you'll run out quick, and you'll see that it costs you $25 a month. Well, that's not bad.
No.
But when you start adding it all up for a
Yeah.
different program does a different aspect of your job, it does start to become expensive. So those that know a little bit or know people that know a little bit, they just build out their own program. And at the end of the day, it's kind of what like OpenClaw is. You
Yeah.
you are having to build out your own program. And do I recommend you doing it without coding experience? Not at all. I think you still have to have some experience. Did I do it without coding experience? Yes. But I am well known for not making the best decisions.
This is true.
I mean, I did start a drone cleaning business, never flown a
Never
drone, never
flown
cleaned it
drone, never
before.
cleaned.
But I did learn how to make it happen, and that was to have and some people may not know what I'm talking about. I know at least one of these terms you guys would have heard of. Chat GPT, have Chat GPT up and then have Google's Gemini up, and then you just have them bounce off each other. And it's hard to explain, but the code that you're asking for, and you're literally having one validate the code of the other, and then you put it in to the terminal on your machine
Yeah.
and see what it spits out. And there are many frustrating times. Um, there are for myself twice that I would be days into building this out and then erase the whole thing. But I know what's on the other end of this, and that's a completely agentic system that handles, all the emails, handles social media.
Which is it could be considered priceless.
Uh,
I mean, just it takes so much time to do all those mass emails, and something that just does it automatically is just it really helps keep up with people and keep that open, as we already mentioned, open line of communication so you don't lose a customer.
well, and you're trying to maintain your competitive edge.
Right.
My wife made a comment the other day that I think holds a lot of truth. Um, she saw me frustrated. I'm sitting down and I'm trying to get this thing set up and very frustrating. And she said, I thought this thing was supposed to give you time back. It seems like it's taking more time.
Yeah.
And I have to say if you're not careful, that's very true.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, now she's speaking of, the wife is calling me. Um, however, if you can find your way through the forest, like you said, on the other end, that's priceless. I mean, think about how hard it is for you and I to coordinate 30, well, let's just say set up and all that, an hour to
Yeah.
do a podcast. Brother, a lot of our fellow washers out there, they can't do that.
Yeah.
They don't have the time, the equipment, or they don't know how to run the equipment, which
We
God, I
I s
think we're getting there.
think we might have figured it
Yeah,
out
we
a
may be
little.
getting there. Every time I say that, I go back and listen to it. I'm like, oh man, there was something wrong with that.
Yeah.
but the little things that this can take off your plate, but most importantly, if you can master just a couple aspects of it, the ability to help you in client acquisition,
Yeah.
that is, like you said, that's priceless.
I mean, that's
Um,
how we make money, and anything that makes us more efficient in client acquisition and in return, it makes us more money.
yeah, and if I'm if I'm someone that's listening and I'm like, man, I have no idea where to start. Two things I would start with. Number one, go download ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to use ChatGPT than most others. And maybe I'm biased because it was the first one I ever did. Use it to start writing your social media post.
Yeah.
Um, Number two, once you feel like you've not mastered that, but once you feel like you're somewhat comfortable, go go download Google's Gemini. No, yeah, Gemini. Within Gemini is something called Nano Banana. Nano Banana is what I would consider the best at generating images. So much to the point it can generate a one pager for you that you
Yeah.
can use to hand out to customers. And I I would say for the majority of those listening that whatever Nano Banana comes up with is probably better than what you're making on Canva,
Yeah.
you know?
100%.
So, and if you get good at it, if you know, you don't even have to be good at Nano Banana. If you're good at Canva, you can take Nano Banana's rendering, move it to Canva, and you can start to take away or add to layers.
Yeah.
And that's when you're really able to put your spin on it. And that's something I still do, because I don't think my prompting is the best yet, and that's the biggest thing, and all the biggest thing to understand about AI is it's only as good as what you give it.
Yeah.
So the prompt is the directions and the quote unquote guardrails for the task that you give it. And some programs like details, some programs like just, straight give me these things and let me work. And you will also get to understand what programs are good at what. Um, Claude, not Open Claude, Claude. Open Claude technically isn't Open Claude or Claude bot anymore because Claude sued them. Long story, but Anthropic's Claude is great at coding. Gemini Nano Banana is great at image rendering. Grok by Elon Musk and
Mhm.
X is great at taking in large documents, reading them, and spitting something out. And I put Perplexity and ChatGPT by OpenAI up there as well. Um, so the only way that you can really get to understand this stuff is just
Immersion.
do it
Yeah. Do it.
and have your sleepless nights, or you'll sleep like a baby. Um, you'll have great sleep because you'll be tired, or if you're like me, you just can't get that brain to shut down. Don't say anything.
I didn't say
It
nothing.
is running.
I didn't say
It
nothing.
may be running like that 6-0 that you give me fits about, but
I do.
it's running nonetheless. Um, However, I mean, the biggest takeaway I think that people can get from this episode is do something.
Yeah. If you were on if you were it's not on the edge or on the line, yes, AI is useful. It will continue to be useful. It will continue to be more useful the more it gets developed. Yes, you will make more money in the long run if you understand it and implement it into your company in some form or fashion. You have no choice.
Mhm.
It is going to help you look more professional. It's going to help you be more efficient. That in turn makes you more money.
Because I think a trap that a lot of new washers fall into is they think that success is determined by PSI. and chemicals that are used and just name it, all the things that exist on a rig. And yes, that plays a major, major role in it. But at the end of the day, success is more about responsiveness,
How did you handle the customer? Yeah.
reliability, and now it's getting, if you're doing big commercial, it's getting into reporting,
Mhm.
not just how you handle communication with the customer before and during the job.
Right.
It's that after
Yeah.
that, just to be honest, the expectations of the customer, it's not going to get easier.
No.
Not going to get easier at all. Like once again, just another comparison. There was a day that I'm sure that washers they sent in their quotes via fax.
Yeah.
I think if you tried to do that now, a facility manager would overlook you. They probably wouldn't have a choice. They probably don't even know
Probably
where the
so,
fax machine is.
if they have one still.
Yeah. A lot of these facilities, they are high speed, low drag, to use a term from the Marine Corps. Um, they're going to deal with vendors who at least have some type of understanding and
Yeah.
capability of that. And that has nothing to do with the performance of the job. I think that's what gets you in the door.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for the old heads who, you know, they who shy away from new things, and the young guys who place value in the wrong things, they're going to find themselves falling further and further behind. And if you look at AI as big technology and this, and this, which it is to a degree, and you don't look at it for what it is for all of us, which is a equalizer, it levels the field, then you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
To do the things that we're starting to do with client acquisition to customer outreach to organizing, reporting, all of that. To do that without AI, we would have to hire
Yeah.
so many people. And so companies that have that capability, they have that capital and they have
Yeah.
that infrastructure, yeah, they can do it. And we get left behind. Then we are eating scraps.
Yeah.
And
It puts us in the same playing field as others when we don't have the same capital as others.
yeah, absolutely. And a great podcast to go listen to called Shell Game. And,
Mhm.
and it's in season 2 right now. Season 1 is a reporter who da- creates his own AI, and it's got a voice. It's got his voice, and it's really entertaining. He talks to his insurance agent, but it's not really him. He has the robot call his friends, and some know what he's doing, but they
Yeah.
still can't tell if it's the robot. Some have no idea. He had a robot talk to his wife. Well, season 2, um, he starts a company, and he is the only human in the company. He has a CFO, he has a sales force, they all have names, they all have backstories.
Jeez.
The last episode I heard, he actually had to fire one. Had a conversation with it,
That
how
is
yes,
hilarious.
he had to fire one, and it was pretty funny.
That's so funny.
I typically don't laugh at unemployment, but, this one was good.
Yeah, that's
But he brought up a point on this last episode that I think kinda highlights what we're saying. It's not just a reality anymore. It's a likelihood,
mhm.
or a possible reality. It's a likelihood right now that we will see our first billion-dollar valuated company that has 1 employee,
Yeah.
and it'll be just a human who has learned how to implement and integrate AI into some business, and that company will be worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
So it's coming regardless if we like it or not. It's just where we are right now. And I have people all the time like, I don't want anything to do with this, all this craziness. Well, we understand that. I mean, I get it. And in a lot of ways, I sympathize with it, I empathize with it. It's here,
Yeah.
not just for the general population. If you are an exterior cleaner, a drone cleaner, it's here.
Yeah.
And for us who we do appreciate technology, we have seen what it means for drone cleaning, literally
Yeah.
the drone autonomously cleaning a building, or a surface cleaner who can you can toss out on the sidewalk
Just
and
let it go to
let
work.
it go to work. And that possibly is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And
It is pretty cool.
yeah, and there's no telling where we end up. This is moving at a speed that, yes, is very uncomfortable. Not going to lie. Even for someone like me who I'm very open to it, like I'm okay, let's embrace it. It's happening, but it is uncomfortable.
It
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
there are things that nefarious actors are doing with it, but like we were discussing before the show, same thing with the gun.
Yeah.
Same thing with a variety of tools and instruments that
Yeah.
were created to
It's only
save
yeah.
lives.
It's only scary if you don't understand it.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, you have to understand not just the pros and cons or the risks, but you have to understand in the hands of the wrong person
Yeah.
what it could mean, and defend yourself from that. The I had somebody bring up the other day, like imagine somebody being able to use OpenClaw to hack into somebody, and that's already happened. It's happened dozens of times, if not hundreds of times. But also imagine OpenClaw being that defense.
Yeah.
So it's the yin and the yang.
Yeah. It's like Age of Ultron. Marvel predicted it.
I don't know.
You never seen that one? No. It
I'm an old head.
it's alright. Maybe someone on here will get my reference.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Uh,
That'll probably be the person that is embracing
Probably so.
AI. Or not.
Or
I
not,
don't
yeah.
know. I don't know the context here,
Yeah.
so
Pretty much a guy creates interface and then he tries to kill, like, a small population of people.
with the exception of the killing a small population of people, I did create interface, and it was trying to kill me, or at least my sanity, I would
Yeah,
say.
probably your sanity.
Yeah. But anyhow, guys, I think that's gonna do it for episode
6.
7?
6.
6?
Believe it's 6.
Episode 6? I'm gonna have to go check on
I
that.
could be wrong. I thought it was 6.
And the ordeal, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, go click it now, take your time. I'll stall while you go do it. Go like, subscribe, all our social media we have on here, the channel, most importantly, if you like what you hear. I know you probably don't like what you see,
Yeah.
but you can like what the things that we talk about. And go check out our gear list. It's on the Vercel website, that the link you'll see in the comments and the description of the video. Also, we've been getting a lot of calls from people that are new to drone cleaning or thinking about getting in. Um, you can find my number easily on the website. Give us a call. Man, I have fielded 24 of those calls
Yeah.
recently, and I enjoy it. It's always good conversations. I've had a couple guys send pictures of the book. They went and bought the book. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Go check out the Drone Cleaner for Facility Managers micro book series. Even if you're not a facility manager, it's a nice little gift you can hand out to them. It'll explain it a little better, maybe take away some of that apprehension they may have. Besides that, Jared, anything?
AI is useful too. Don't be scared of it. Learn how to use it.
That's
Pursue
it.
it.
That's the theme of the show.
That's it.
Spoiler alert, you're not even watching Rick and Jared right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if it was AI, it would learn how to zoom out on this camera.
Maybe so.
I'll have to put it all the way across the room slash studio in order for it to get to guys. I don't mean to be this close.
Yeah.
I'm really not this close.
Yeah.
But I think we hit a button or flipped a
Something,
setting back in
something.
episode 2,
Yeah.
and it has,
You
yeah, we cannot get it back.
gonna
So
file a lawsuit on Logitech.
yeah, yeah, that's right. All right, guys, that does it for episode 6 or 7. Who knows? And we are landing this thing. Thanks for tuning in to
Peace.
another episode of Flyby Shine Presents, a drone cleaning show.